Welcome everyone to today's spiritual discourse. Let me ask you, what does praying mean to you? Is it the one that we do before going to bed? Or when we get up in the morning? Or how about those that just use praying as a medium to turn others down? Say, make me stronger than my enemy. Make that bossy landlord fall ill today so that he doesn't show up at the door to collect the rent. God, may my boss or teacher get stuck in the traffic jam because I am late and I haven't finished my assignment. A kid prays and says, God, grant me patience, but hurry up. Praying could hold different meanings to different people. But as we go deeper into the subject, what are the trends of praying? Number 1, bargaining in prayer. Have you bargained with God? Have you ever prayed, God, if you will do what I ask, I will do this specific task for you in return? There was this guy who went to the store and bought a lottery ticket. He spent a couple bucks on it. So what do you do after buying a lottery ticket? You scratch it, right? After scratching it off, the number appeared, and boy, did he start praying. And every day he prayed to God, God, if you make me win this lottery, I will donate 25% of the money for charity. Please help me win this lottery. And he would look at his number several times during the day. I know you love me, God. Please, please just help me win this lottery. Make this the lucky number. One of the all-time favorite prayer is, God, if you help me get this job, I'll go to church, temple, every week for a year. We promise God certain behavior if God will fulfill our request. God, heal me, and I'll be in church or a temple every Sunday. Or we promise to stop certain habits. Why should God bargain with us for something we should or should not be doing? Prayer should not be taken as a business, folks. Someone has put it aptly. Prayer is not a check request asking for things from God. It is a deposit slip, a way of depositing God's character into our bankrupt souls. The second trend is only praying at the time of crisis. B. Graham Denard says, many people pray as if God were a big aspirin pill. They come only when they're hurt. These are prayers made in crisis, situations, or when they desperately want something. Often these folks pray only when they're in the foxhole. Sri Ashutosh Maharaji says, prayer should not merely be an occasional impulse to which we respond when we are in trouble. Prayer should be life's attitude and approach. A question we all need to ask ourselves is that, is praying a priority in our lives? You're running late for work, you skip prayer. You have friends over, you skip prayer. You like this TV show that's going on. Prayer can wait. Let me watch this first. Do we negotiate with God for other chores rather than praying? Or is prayer a priority? Once there was a king named Jasing, who was a great devotee of the Lord. During the reign of Jasing, the Mongols were conquering India. One by one, they attacked the small kingdoms of the country. And there were also various other conflicts that were going on. It was a time of war and instability. Jasing's kingdom was very beautiful and prosperous. Being desirous of the fortune, the king of the neighboring kingdom tried to conquer Jasing's kingdom many times. But whenever he met Jasing's army, he found it to be undefeatable. Also, the Mongols tried to defeat Jasing many times, but they too were unsuccessful. In this way, Jasing, who always personally led his army in the battle, stayed true to his name of victory to the lion. One day, the neighboring king thought to himself, "If I cannot conquer him by fair means, I have to employ unfair means." Thus, he sent his spies to find out about Jasing's habits and routine. The spies soon returned with this message. Every morning, Jasing personally worships his deity, Sri Radharaman. He starts punctually at 8 a.m. and finishes the worship by 9 a.m. No one is to disturb him during that time. So the neighboring king decided to attack this time. In this way, one morning, exactly 1 minute past 8, he started his surprise attack. Jasing was before the Lord. He prayed, "My Lord, I have given a vow to worship you. I cannot go and defend my people now." There was a loud knock at the door. The Prime Minister's voice shouted from outside, "King, you have to lead your army. I brought a qualified priest with me. He can do the worship." Jasing answered, "Yes, but you know that I have given this vow to the Lord, that I would always worship him personally." "We are lost," said the distraught minister, who then went to the king's mother for help. She came to Jasing and said to him, "My son, what do you think the Lord appreciates more, if you protect his devotees or if you dress him out of devotion? As your mother, I order you, lead your army." Jasing said, "No, mother, I've given a promise to my Lord." "Is this all you have to say to your mother? Our soldiers will be slaughtered and all the citizens will be made slaves." "But I cannot break my promise," said Jasing. The mother said, "Dear Lord, please protect me. Please protect my people." "My Lord, I have said no to my mother because I want to be true to my promise to you. Now you are the only one that can save us," said Jasing. At this moment, something wonderful happened. Jasing had a war horse, which was extremely powerful and mighty. Jasing was the only person who could ride it. Suddenly, the servants at the barn of the king's horses saw a warrior running up to the barn with great speed and force. He wore the armor of a king. He was covered and yelled, "Make the horse ready!" The warrior had a sword in both of his hands and immediately began cutting himself through the army of the enemy. However, everyone who encountered the warrior became supremely blissful, even when they fell to the ground by his sword. Jasing's army enthusiastically shouted again and again, "Victory in the name of Jasing! All glories to Jasing!" Meanwhile, Jasing sat before his Lord, continuing his prayer for protection while he dressed the deity. When he wanted to give earrings to the Lord, he saw that there was only one, although he was sure that he had brought two. At that time, the enemy's army was slain. Soon the Prime Minister found Jasing in the temple and started to praise him for fighting the battle single-handedly. "I was not fighting at all," said the surprised Jasing. "I was doing my prayers here." When the minister finally took him to his war horse to show him that it was exhausted from the battle, Jasing understood. Lord Hari had fought the battle. Later, Jasing found the missing earring of Lord Hari on the battlegrounds and built a temple at that place. This is the power of prayer. The king prayed with sincerity and followed his prayer routine with devotion for the Lord's protection, and the Lord took care of everything. But let's question ourselves today. Is God our priority? Or is he on the list that says, whenever I have time or if I have time? The king had faith in his prayers and in the one who he was praying to. Faith plays an important role in prayer, and prayer requires faith. Several years ago, a small farming community was experiencing a terrible drought. The leaders of the community called for a prayer meeting in hope of everyone attending and holding a group prayer for rain. One man was in attendance with his small son. As everyone was praying, the small boy reached up and tugged his daddy's shirt to ask, "Daddy, what is everyone doing?" The man explained that everyone was praying for rain and then went back to his prayer. The boy looked around for a few minutes and was puzzled. He tugged again on his dad's shirt and asked, "Daddy, if everyone is here to pray for rain, why didn't anyone bring an umbrella?" Think about it. We should pray with faith to accept God's will. Prayer should seek the highest good that only God knows. We do not know God's will, nor do we know ultimately what is best for us or our loved ones. Before we can pray, "Lord, thy kingdom come," we must be willing to pray, "My kingdom go." Alton Trueblood, a philosopher, said, "At the profoundest depths in life, men talk not about God, but with Him." When Swami Yogananda was about to leave for America for the first time, as per his master's instructions, he sort of had a fear of the culture and the atmosphere of America, that it would be quite different from the one that he has experienced in India. He did not wish to get caught in the whimsical materialism there. He worried over these thoughts and uncertainties that might take place, until he remembered the divine words of his Gurudev Sri Yukteswar-Giri. In case of a dilemma or uncertainty, sit in meditation rather than looking for a shoulder. It is possible to communicate with God in the depths of meditation. All your questions will be answered. After recalling those inspiring words of his master, he took a pledge and was determined that until I do not hear God's voice, I will not stop meditating. I want God's blessings for this journey and assurance. Yogananda's prayers were heard, and Maha Avatar Baba had appeared, and he says that God has sent me to deliver the message that follow the instructions of your Guru and go to America. Be fear-free. You will always be protected. He showered blessings on Yogananda. It is said, in prayer we speak to God, but in meditation, God speaks to us. Meditation is a time to reflect, to be quiet and let God speak. We all have an inner spirit that needs to be fed. This is a time to listen and be open to all the messages our higher power sends our way. God is ready to talk to us and answer our prayers, but we have to sit in meditation in order to be receptive to catch those waves. It's just like an antenna. Although the radio waves are present everywhere, you need a device through which those waves can be transmitted, and you can tune in to the programs. Similarly, God is sending messages to us continuously. In order to listen to those messages, you will have to tune in to meditation. Be calm and absorbed in that state so that you can listen to each word of God. Meditation is a means through which God talks to you. And I'm more than happy to share that with the blessings of Sri Ashutosh Maharaji, devotees are experiencing this through Brahmgyan, where they have continuous guidance. Meditation has actually become the medication of our lives, the soul's nourishment, the mind's end to dilemmas, and a sure-shot solution to enduring happiness and peace. Dale Carnegie was asked, "What is the secret of your life?" Dale Carnegie replied, "Every day I pray. I yield myself to God. the tensions and anxieties go out of me, and peace and power come in. Let's learn to surrender ourselves in prayer and meditation, and let meditation be the key of our day and the lock of our night. With this, I would like to end my views and pause. बोलिए सतगुरु महाराज जी की जय, सच्चे दरबार की जय.